What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now today you joined me for another car review, and as you can see behind me we have the new Suzuki Baleno, and that's the car in topic today. Now big thanks to BB Group Suzuki, which is the local Suzuki dealership out here in Zanin. I'll definitely leave their details down in the description below. Do check them out. Now I really do hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get right into it.
As I woke up one morning, as I woke up one morning.
So, Suzuki Baleno. Now, this is the facelift. It was introduced sometime last year, that is 2022. One thing I like about our Suzuki cars is that they don't look similar, like they're all very unique and very different. Now, remember, the Baleno shares platforms now with the Franx, and when you put the cars side by side, the Franx looks like its own car, the Baleno also looks like its own car, which is pretty neat. Now, the Baleno is a medium-sized hatchback. It's about the size of like a Golf or Opel Astra and so on. Now this one in particular is the GLX, and it does have some cool features in and out, of which I'll also touch upon. Now starting with the front, the look is very nice, it's stylish, it's a great looking car overall, some unique design touches, and it does stand out. Up front you have the Suzuki badge, which sits very nice and proud, and it's all in chrome. You also have this chrome strip that runs across the grille. There's a camera right here, which you only get on the GLX for the 360 view camera system. And yeah, you have some fog lights down here, xenon main headlights with integrated daytime running lights, which does look cool. I do like the look of this thing. Coming around to the side, the GLX gets these Aeroblade style wheels, which are two-tone silver and gloss black, and they're 16 inches by the way, machine polished as well, whereas on the standard GL it only comes with wheel caps instead. Now the mirrors house cameras once again beneath them, are part of the 360 camera view system, which is very handy in some tight situations especially. I do love this these chrome touches like you have on the window surrounds and also on the door handles. There's also a button for the keyless access. You can just press there, the car locks and unlocks, and you're in. One other thing I noticed, if you check the C-pillar area, it sort of curves in a way, giving it a kind of coupe sort of vibe, and yeah, that is really nice. There's also a very strong shoulder line right here, of which I've come to see also on the other models like the Grand Vitara, which does give the cars some stance. You have these cool looking wraparound tail lights, which are very nice. There's also a chrome strip right here and reverse camera, which also works as part of the 360 view system. And yeah, it just says Baleno, no fake exhausts, nothing unnecessary back here, and yeah, it's really nice. You also have some parking sensors all around. Let's actually check out the interior. So the Baleno interior. Now one thing I love about all these new Suzuki models is that pretty much all of them have the model designation name on the floor mats. So in here it says Baleno on the floor mats, which is pretty neat. I like that. That's a really cool touch. Now I'm just gonna mute the radio. So inside here, one thing I'll touch upon. Now remember, in the Franx video, if you haven't watched that video, I'll leave a link down in the description below. You can check it out. I did say the choice of color in terms of the interior trims was a bit standoffish, that kind of burgundy maroon look, because it wouldn't work with all exterior paint colors. Well, in the Baleno it comes with navy blue trim touches like you get on the dashboard, on the doors. There's also some flashes of that same color on the seats. Now I like blue, it's one of my most favorite colors, and I think in here it works, but I'll be fair. Let's just say it won't cater for most people. Now also it won't work with all the exterior paint colors, so yeah, it splits opinions basically. Now the steering wheel, this is the exact same steering wheel that we find in all the other Suzuki models, the Swifts, the Grand Vitaras and so on, and it's a very lovely steering wheel. The sizing, for one, it's perfectly sized. It sits so well in your hands. Now in here in the GLX, or well, in the Baleno rather, it is leather wrapped, which is, yeah, pretty neat. Another thing that I've been thinking of lately is pretty much all of these Suzuki models come with analog dials, and they may be falling behind other cars and other brands because a lot of manufacturers are now adopting digital screens, digital dials, and so on. So that's another thing. You could say they're a bit behind, but the analog dials are very nice. I mean, the graphics are very lovely, and there's a very small screen that has some info like fuel consumption, engine temperature, all those types of gauges that you get from this little screen. Actually, I say engine temperature. Well, engine temperature is displayed by one of the analog dials inside the ref counter. So yeah, basically there is a bunch of information that you can read from this display. On the right side of the dashboard, you have a couple of buttons. You have the engine start stop button. This car once again has keyless access, and there is a button for cycling through the menus of the heads-up display, so you can change what you want to be displayed there. There's a ref counter, there's a clock, there's a speedo, and so on, which is pretty lovely. There's also a traction control button. There's also a button for waking up the camera systems. You don't have to wait until the car is in reverse for you to have access to the camera systems. If you need any access, that's a quick way to raise those up. And yeah, overall it's a very lovely place to be. Now in the Balenos, as standard, you get a 7-inch infotainment screen. In the GLX you get this 9-inch display, but both cars come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is pretty neat. Now I did get into the screen a bit in the Franks because this is exactly the same system. So yeah, very responsive. Resolution is very decent. I mean, it gives you pretty much everything that you'll need. Doesn't have any unnecessary information or features. It's a pretty nice system, and it works really well. Now another thing I noted about this car is the seats are very lovely and very comfortable. I do like the look of them. I do love how they hug you, and they are so comfortable. Now in here you have two cup holders right here at the front. You get this armrest, and there's also some storage beneath it, which is pretty nice. There's also some bottle holders on the doors, and they can fit really huge bottles. There's also some space areas and the doors themselves where you can throw all sorts of stuff. The glove box as well is nice and big, but it's all in plastic. It doesn't have any felt or cloth covering, so when you put some stuff in there, it can rattle and so on, which is, yeah, something to note. But overall the interior is very nice. It's a very lovely place to be. Another thing I would say is I wish these came with a sunroof. I feel like it would have helped raise the interior even more, which is, yeah, that's a bummer. But anyways, let's actually check out the space in the back seat. So the back seat. Now one thing I've noted, these seats, like on the front, very lovely, very comfortable, and they're so well cushioned. Now the room back here is actually very plentiful. Like, check out this leg room. There is an abundant amount of space for you to just stretch your legs and just get comfortable. And also headroom is quite decent. Hey, it might be a bit tight for people who are like 6 foot tall and so on, but it's quite decent, like I said. Now there isn't a lot of creature comforts back here. You get climate vents. You also get 2 USB ports, one normal one and one USB-C, which is, yeah, that's your lot. Let's check out the boot space. So, Baleno boot space. Now this is 318 liters of boot capacity, and yeah, the boot is nice and deep, but there is a huge loading lip, so it might be challenging to lift heavy stuff in and out. There is an underfloor where you get a spare wheel, which is pretty nice. Other than that, there's nothing else. There's a nice lighter you can use in the dark to see your stuff properly. There's a choice of 2 trim levels, the base GL, which starts from this price, and this top of the range GLX, which starts from this price. Now all cars come with a 200,000 kilometer / 5-year warranty and a 60,000 kilometer / 4-year service plan, and yeah, that's your lot. Now there's only a choice of one engine, which is this, the K15B, which is a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, making 77 kilowatts, which is around 105 horsepower and 138 newton meters of torque. There's also a choice of 2 gearboxes, a standard 5-speed manual and a 4-speed automatic transmission. And you guys already know which one I prefer. Now let's actually experience how this car drives. So guys, you join me inside the Baleno. Now this particular one is the manual option, and yeah, I'm quite a big fan of this gearbox because it just works perfectly. The throw is nice and short, and the overall feel of the gear lever is nice and satisfying. It's easy to judge the shifting points. The clutch is nicely weighted. It's not too heavy. It's more on the light side, but not in a bad way. Also, the ride quality is just, it's brilliant. It's a very supple feeling suspension, and it soaks up all the bumps really well. Now I have no idea if Suzuki uses some kind of complex suspension system, but man, the ride quality of all these vehicles is just, it's superb. Now 99% of all the experience in here is pretty much the same as the Francs, with the remaining 1% being the elevated ride height. So this being a hatchback, obviously you don't get that, so you sit lower, which is, it's not a trade-off in any way, but nowadays most people prefer that kind of raised ride height. But this is a very nice place to be. Also, insulation is really good. Like, you can hardly hear what's going on outside, although I'm aware I'm driving at normal town speeds, and as you climb up through the speed, that's where you get more wind noise and whatnot. But I believe this car will insulate all those road noises quite well. Now, fuel consumption, Suzuki claims an average of about 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers, but in the real world you should expect around 6 liters per 100 kilometers, although you can dip down into the 5s, which is, yeah, that's brilliant. So yeah, it's also the way they've laid out the interior. It's quite easy to have your elbows resting on the door armrest and the center armrest, and you can just sit in this very nice comfortable position. I don't know how to explain how it feels, like the sound insulation in here and the overall feel of the suspension, but my suggestion would be go out to your local Suzuki dealership, have a go in one of these, and you'll understand what I'm trying to say. But overall, just know that it's a very nice and well insulated interior, very relaxing car to drive, and visibility is quite amazing, hey, especially with all these big mirrors. The rear view mirror, you also have a great view from that, and yeah, there is close to no blind spots except maybe that rear C-pillar. It's quite thick and chunky, but no issue at all because you have the camera systems in the GLX, so you can see well all around the vehicle. And yeah, that's pretty much all my 2 cents with this car. Great car, highly recommend. If you have enough money to cover the budget for the GLX, go for that. If you can't afford the GLX, the base GL is also good. So yeah, Suzuki Baleno, that's all my 2 cents. Now I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, that's cheers from me.